All right, so let's start with some updates that have in fact just come in, where France has now announced that it is calling off a gala at its ambassador's house in Washington that is scheduled for later this evening. The move has in fact been taken by Paris in protest against the United States, the United Kingdom and Australia's nuclear submarine deal that is worth $66 billion American dollars. The French embassy in Washington has confirmed the decision to cancel this gala event of celebration, and this has come after France has termed the US, UK, Australia nuclear deal as a clear stab in the back for the French. Now remember, Australia has now cancelled its multi-billion-dollar attack submarine deal with France that it had earlier signed in 2016. Now, the event at which the French embassy was supposed to celebrate the anniversary of a decisive naval battle in the American Revolution, in which France had played a very key role. However, the occasion has been made more sober, the embassy said, adding that the ambassador's event has now been cancelled. The French ambassador Philippe Etienne told the US media that Paris had not been informed about the fact that its deal with Australia was getting cancelled, and instead the Americans and the British were signing a completely new deal with the Australians. So apparently the French learned about the fact that their deal had been scrapped and a new deal struck with the Americans and the British via news. So after inking the multi-billion-dollar nuclear-powered submarine deal, Australia and the United States have now announced further expansion of their military cooperation. And this includes rotational deployment of all types of US military aircrafts to Australia. The Australian Defence Minister Peter Dutton has said that the two sides will be significantly enhancing their force posture cooperation. Australia and the United States will also be increasing interoperability between forces and will deepen alliance activities in the Indo-Pacific. Now, as part of enhancing the force posture cooperation, the United States will now station its military aircrafts in Australia on a rotational basis. The move is being seen as a counter to increased Chinese activities in the Indo-Pacific.
Yesterday, Minister Dutton and I signed a statement of intent that will expand our efforts to co-develop advanced defense capabilities. And today, we endorse major force posture initiatives that will expand our access and presence in Australia. We agreed to take immediate steps to improve interoperability through deeper integration.
Now, to achieve this goal, Canberra and Washington will be enhancing logistics and sustainment capability for submarines and surface combatants in Australia. The US Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin hailed the development and said that the new Defense Pact will ensure major force posture initiatives that will expand the access and presence of the Americans in Australia. Now, remember, on Wednesday, the United States and Britain had said that they will be providing Australia with the technology and the capability to deploy nuclear-powered submarines. The United States and its allies are looking for ways to push back against China's growing power and influence, particularly its military build-up, pressure on Taiwan, and also deployments in the contested South China Sea.
We spoke in detail about China's destabilizing activities and Beijing's efforts to coerce and intimidate other countries, contrary to established rules and norms. And while we seek a constructive, results-oriented relationship with the PRC, we will remain clear-eyed in our view of Beijing's efforts to undermine the established international order.
But the new AUKUS pact has angered the NATO ally France, which has described the move as a clear stab in the back. The Americans have said that France and other NATO partners were informed before the announcement of the AUKUS deal. Now, Blinken further said that France continues to remain a vital partner for the United States in the Indo-Pacific.
France in particular is a vital partner on this and so many other issues, stretching back generations, and we want to find every opportunity to deepen our transatlantic cooperation in the Indo-Pacific and around the world. We cooperate incredibly closely with France on many shared priorities in the Indo-Pacific, but also beyond, around the world. We're going to continue to do so. We place fundamental value on that relationship, on that partnership, and we will carry it forward in the days ahead.
Meanwhile, the French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian has accused the United States President Joe Biden of acting like the former U.S. President Donald Trump. He called the American move as brutal, as unilateral, and also completely unpredictable. The French embassy in Washington has also contradicted the American claims. Ambassador Philippe Etienne has said that he came to know about the AUKUS partnership and the submarine deal only when he saw it on the news on television. And also, our correspondent Susan Tehrani has been tracking the story very closely for us and has sent us this report. Take a look.
Senior U.S. administration officials are finding themselves in a position where they have to offer words of assurances that the interests of their Atlantic and Pacific allies are aligned and that the United States welcomes a strong role for France in the Indo-Pacific region after a rupture with its NATO ally over a newly announced nuclear submarine partnership with the UK and Australia. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, during a press conference on Thursday, said that the United States welcomes European countries playing an important role in the Indo-Pacific and that, quote, France in particular is a vital partner on this, on so many other things, stretching back a long time, end of quote. Now, the U.S. says that it had informed France prior to announcing this partnership with the UK and Australia. Nonetheless, considering France's immediate and fiery reaction, it's safe to say that this latest development will challenge a key relationship that the Biden administration had hoped to restore since taking office and since Joe Biden himself became president, and will likely create a lasting hurdle in U.S.-French relations unless and until the U.S. is able to create some sort of balancing act between its Pacific and Atlantic alliances beyond words of assurances. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION. World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.